Today, I get the opportunity to meet with Kara Turner, and she has this awesome company. It's called ADV Marketing. How you doing?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for this conversation.
Awesome. Well, first of all, the first thing I always like to do is just tell me what motivated you to start this company. How's it going? What's the vision? Anything you want to share there would be awesome.
Okay, great. So I feel like the reason I started the company is a little different than some people. So about 4 years ago, I found myself in a situation where I knew that I was going to need a very flexible schedule for my three children. And I knew that I was not going to be able to work for someone because anyone who has kids knows that they're very time consuming. And I was a single parent. So I was like, what am I going to do? So my background was owning an industrial coatings company where I did HR at first and then I did sales. So I knew the clients that I wanted to work with, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I reached out to someone that I knew through church and I asked him if he had a position, and he didn't, but he made one for me. So I became his marketing coordinator, even though I had not been like formally trained on marketing. So I went to work at this company and I really enjoyed the marketing. And so I made the offhand comment like, hey, we should start a marketing company. Smaller businesses in the oil and gas industry don't really focus on marketing. They just put up a website, have a salesperson and a brochure, and they're like, our marketing's good. Um, so he was like, yeah, we should. You do it. So I applied and started ADV marketing. So I do have a partner. He is an amazing man. He actually just sold his company to a huge company in the oil and gas industry. And so he's a great mentor. He helps me out just learning more about business if I have a question because he's been doing it longer. And we've gone from there. So that was December of 2020. My first client was January of 2021. So we hit the ground running pretty quickly. And I've averaged about 50% growth every year. And it always amazes me from the beginning of the year to the end of the year how much it changes. So I love marketing. I very much approach it from a business owner's perspective instead of like someone who is more formally trained in marketing. I think it's very important that your marketing is strategic, that there's a return on investment, and that you make decisions on the goals that you want your marketing to hit. And those should align with your business goals. So that was the approach I had. I started ADV marketing and I'm loving it.
Okay, that's pretty crazy. So let's just say that takes a lot of guts to just branch out on your own. Did you ever have a doubt 4 months into it? Did you like say, holy crap, what did I do here?
Oh, of course. I mean, we all have doubts. As a business owner, there's been periods of time where I delay paying myself just because of like cash flow, or you just hit a snag, or you need a new piece of equipment. And I've been very fortunate and blessed that I've always been able to reimburse myself when I've had to kind of pause payments or if I've had to invest extra money into the company. But if we give up every time we have a doubt, like we would just stay in bed all day. So
True, right?
yeah, it's not a matter of can I make this work? It's a matter of this has to work. I don't have any more options, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Well, I like that there's no room for failure idea really is quite motivational, right?
Yes. Yep. And when you look at your bank account and your bills, that's pretty motivating too.
And you have mouths to feed, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not just you hanging out, you know. So how about
Yep.
you talked about your business partner mentor. Tell me about that. That's super intriguing and I think really brilliant to for a lot of successful business owners. They surround themselves with really smart people that have a lot of experience. Tell me about your
Yeah, I think that is key to being successful. So, my partner, Chris Alexander, he is very, very smart. He actually has his undergrad, his master's, and his PhD in mechanical engineering, I believe. Oh my gosh, he's going to kill me if I get that wrong, but it's engineering for sure. Um, and he is very smart, very genuine and generous. When I went to work for him at his company, one of the things he told me was, I have been successful, and now it is my job to help the people around me be successful so I can pour into people like you and build you up. So that's the kind of mindset that he has. And it's just wonderful to be surrounded by people like that. And when I have a bad day, I can go to him. And even when he has a bad day, sometimes he'll come to me and be like, I need some encouragement. So it's nice to have someone to bounce that kind of stuff on. But more importantly, if I have a genuine business question, or if I need a connection in the industry, like, he's there to offer that kind of stuff. And I try and build my network of people who are willing to help. I have found that people who are successful in business really do want to help other people, but they're busy. So you have to ask them, and you have to be respectful of their time. You can't take a bunch of time, but if you ask someone to mentor you or to pour into you a little bit, they're going to be willing to do it.
Isn't that amazing? People really do want to help.
They do. They really do.
And that's so encouraging. So how does this pouring into folks now look, as you are now a successful business owner? How does that look for your staff and your culture?
Well, so my culture is super important. When I make hires, I hire for culture, not necessarily for skills. Of course, they have to have some practical skills, but as long as they show a baseline aptitude for learning, skills can be learned. The culture is what I really want to work on, because we spend more time with the people we work with than we do at home. Like, we need to enjoy these people, and make sure that we have similar values and that similar work ethics. So I am very big about pouring into that. Every quarterly meeting, we go over our core values, we go over our culture, we evaluate where we are. We even evaluate clients to our culture, to make sure that that's a good fit. I actively mentor the ladies underneath me. We work with Texas A&M University, their MS marketing program, and I get interns from there who we mentor. We do projects through them, and I just signed up to be a mentor through the Women's Energy Network this coming year, where I'll have several mentees underneath me, that I can mentor them as they're like progressing in their careers.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're really living out your culture and on a day-to-day basis.
I'm
So,
trying. And then I mentor my kids. I don't think they listen to me very well, but I'm
well,
trying.
well, you're the parent. I mean, you can't be that smart if you're the parent, right?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
at least I know with my parents, they were not very smart when I was a teenager and upper teenager, even into my low 20s, but they amazingly got a lot smarter as I got older.
Yeah.
Did you have this? Are you having
Man,
this experience?
as soon as I had my first kid, my parents were the smartest people I've ever met in my life.
That's awesome. Oh, that's good. Okay, so you mentioned your client's culture. How do you evaluate client's culture, and what does that look like when it doesn't sort of jive with your culture?
Yeah, so one of the things I've really noticed working with clients is it's very interesting to see. A lot of times we work with the business owners are very high up, because we work with smaller to medium sized businesses. So they have a lot of buy in on their marketing. So we work directly with them, and it's very interesting to see them as a person and how that like trickles down into their culture. I have found companies that have very different culture than us, it just never meshes really well. And they don't leave with hard feelings, but it's just not the right fit. And we'll work with them for maybe a project or maybe a year, and then it just kind of trickles out. And I think that that's pretty telling. I mean, you're not going to spend time with people that don't value the same things as you, because even that doesn't mean they're bad people or bad companies. If I value communication and they value us doing it all on our own and not bothering them, then it's just not going to work well. So I think
Mhm.
it's just finding companies that align with your values. And then also when you're working with new companies, I think the biggest part of kicking off with a new client is setting expectations, not only for them, but also for you. Like, we're going to set these expectations. This is what it's like to work with us, and here's how you can hold us accountable. So if a company values that, they're going to work with us. If not, then it's probably not a cultural fit both ways.
That's good. So I like that you said, and I completely agree with, by the way, the leader sets the culture. If you have one person or 5 people or 500 people or 5,000, the leader, what they do and what they don't do and how they show up is a game changer for the culture, right? It's just.
Oh, yes, very much so. And then also you have to be careful of getting that one negative person into the company, and they can just spread like cancer in the company. So as a leader, you have to be vigilant to be watching out for that. And that is one of the reasons that one of my biggest hires is to hire for a cultural fit. Don't get it right every single time, but more often than not, it has worked.
That's wonderful. Okay, tell me about you meet with all these business owners. What's the one thing that you see common that they could do better? If there is a common theme.
I would say probably the biggest thing is when a business owner hires talent and then micromanages them, it never works out.
Ah,
So the handful of companies that weren't a fit for us, it seems like there was a lot of micromanaging going on, or there was a lot of kind of like cutthroat culture. So that's really the only thing I've seen. Most of my clients are fantastic and amazing, and I have so much respect for all these business owners who work really hard. And I mean, your business is your baby. I mean, it's your livelihood. So most business owners are amazing. Just the one thing I've seen is probably micromanaging, which I think we can all fall into the habit of. It's an easy habit to get into.
I think so, especially for business owners, right? Because this is like, I'm handing you the responsibility. I used to do all this stuff. And
Yeah.
well, now I'm giving it to you and expecting it to you to do it like me, which probably isn't
Yes.
even right, or maybe even the most successful way, correct?
Yes, and it's not like we're not control freaks or typically like type A personalities or anything. So shocking when they start to be micromanagers.
It's so natural. It's such a natural progression.
It is.
So how about what about thinking about the one thing, if you had one piece of advice for entrepreneurs that are going to start out, like
Mhm.
what would be the one thing you're like, please do or don't do this? What would be some
Build an amazing team to support you. That's my best piece of advice. My team is like fantastic. I could not do what I do without them, especially my creative director, Sarah Roberts. I mean, she is amazing. So we complement each other very well. So my strengths are more her weaknesses, and her weaknesses are my strengths. So it works out very well in the long run. I would say that you need to find someone who complements you in that way. And you can do different personality tests and different like work aptitude tests to kind of find that. But building that team around you is going to allow you the flexibility to not work 80 hours a week. And also, I do our sales for our company. So it gives me confidence to go out and sell our services because I know I have an amazing team that can back up anything that I say that we can do. So I think that's your superpower as an entrepreneur is your team.
That's awesome. And I love that you said you're picking people that are complementary to you. And I think one of the traps that we as hiring people can fall into is we hire people that are like us.
Yeah. It's easy to do because you get an interview and you're just like, oh, this is so fun. I really like them. And you want to like them. You don't want to work with someone you don't like. But I
Yes.
think once you have started interviewing in your first couple of hires, it's hard the first time you do anything. So you're probably not going to have a formal process in place. And it doesn't even have to be really, really formal, but you definitely want to put a process in place to kind of guide your interviewing, talk about what you need from someone, and you find a person that fits those needs, and then they're gonna fit into that role if they can meet those needs. So I think that's really important. Also thinking about the different personalities to fit your different roles within your company. Is your role more creative? Is your role more structured and process driven? Like, and finding a personality that works in that role so that person really likes their job also is important.
So thank you. Can I ask you two more questions? Is that cool?
Of course.
Okay, good. Okay, so I find it really intriguing and well, yeah, intriguing that you just mentioned you are the salesperson,
Yeah.
right? So all the people that you have around you are the support people and the account services and the creative and all the other things. Tell me,
Yep.
how does that always look the same for you? Do you just love sales, or how did you end up with a structure like that?
That is the way it started, just because I've been in this industry for a while. And so I have contacts. I do like sales. I like talking to people. I like helping people. So I wouldn't say I like sales. I don't want to sell anything to you, but I want to help you improve your business. And if my services do that, then I'm a good fit. If they don't, no problem. Like, let me see if I can help find someone who can help you. So that is the way we have been structured. But one of the things that I've really been doing at my partner Chris's advice is he's like, everyone on your team should be a salesperson. So my creative director, Sarah, if you would have asked her a year ago, she is like, I am not a salesperson. I'm an introvert. Like, I just want to do my creative job, meet with clients, but not have to go out and get new clients. So one of the things I told her was, well, I don't expect you to go out and do sales. That's my job. But you can upsell your clients. You can see what services they're doing, and you can suggest services that complement those services or add on to those services to make the service better. I'm like, that is a way of selling. So she's really done that. But she's also pushed herself out of her comfort zone, and she has gone to several events. And I think she's brought on like 3 new clients this year. So
that's
it's
amazing.
just empowering her and my other ladies. Let's see. My account director has brought on new clients. My account manager has brought on new clients. So everyone in our team has brought on their own new clients now. So it's just empowering them to view sales differently. Because I think a lot of people have a negative connotation with sales, and to approach it in a way that they feel comfortable with.
That's beautiful. And isn't it true that people can tell your intent? And if you, in fact, do care about helping them and helping them grow their business, and you find that rewarding and intriguing and just and joyful, they'll see that and they'll pick up on that. And they're like, this person isn't actually trying to sell me. They're trying to help me. And if that fits, life is beautiful for everyone.
Yes, I agree. If you are in business development, if you haven't done the research to know if they need your services, and then spent the time learning about that person before you're in front of them, like, you're a bad salesperson. You should go find a different job.
That's amazing. Yes, 100%. It's fun.
Let's be blunt about this.
Let's be super blunt. Like that's a deal buster, right? It's fun how when you actually can ask informed questions to demonstrate that you care, that you invested some time with that potential client already before you ever met them. It also demonstrates you got game, right?
Yeah. So sometimes when I'm going to see a new client for like one of our services, we do a lot of digital marketing and website stuff. So they'll want a website audit or SEO. Well, I do the audit and everything and bring it to the meeting. So they're like, well, let's talk about our services. And I'm like, actually, let's talk about your website. So here, and here. And they're like, oh, nice.
I love that. Yeah.
So it's good to put in some effort beforehand.
Yeah, and look, if you see that they have opportunities for growth in their website, even if they don't do business with you, at least they gain some value from the meeting that they can use, and they might know somebody else that could potentially work with you at
Yeah.
some point, right?
Oh, exactly. I have no problem helping clients and guiding people, even if they don't work with me and they decide to go somewhere else. I'm like, okay, well, here are some of the things that you want to ask, and here are some of the things you want to make sure are happening, just to make sure that you're comparing not only apples to apples, but you're getting the best service for you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, last question. And thank you. This has been awesome. What is one thing, looking back over these 4 years, is there one thing that you would have done differently that others could learn from?
Um, oh gosh, there's always things we could do differently, right? Um, I think I do like how a lot of things have gone. Our company has changed so much over time and we've built so many processes. But we couldn't have done that from the beginning because we didn't know we needed those.
Hmm.
One of the things that I did is every time I had a problem, I'm like, how can I prevent this from happening in the past? Or how can I try and prevent this from happening in the past? And I would try and create a process around that to make
Hmm.
sure that that didn't fall through the cracks and that didn't happen again. I would say if I could go back and change anything, I think that I would change letting some people go faster,
Hmm.
when I realized that they weren't the right fit. I know in my head that it is always better, even though it's scary, to let someone go or to lose a client who's not working out, but you just get scared and you hold on to that.
Hmm.
So I think I would have ended those relationships faster when I knew that they weren't the right fit instead of trying to fit that like square peg into the round hole.
Yeah, that's really, both of those things are brilliant. I love that you are figuring out processes to overcome the problem for the next time. That's what a great way
Yes.
to scale a company, first of all.
Yeah. That has been the thing I'm focusing on the most is how am I going to scale this? And you can't scale without processes. I also work with mostly engineers. So when I talk about marketing, they're like, oh, it's like in the sky and you can't measure it and it's flowers and fairies. And I'm like, actually, it's in this flow chart that I can show you that I Gantt charted out. And they're like, oh, we love it.
We love flowcharts. You're speaking my love
Yeah.
language. Oh, that's
So
great.
it works for me. It works for them. It's working so far.
Oh, that's great. What a great piece of advice that is too. It's like, hey, look, this is how they think and this is how they speak. Therefore, this is how I will think and speak. That will resonate with.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That sums up marketing as a whole right there. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking
Yep.
my language, speak to my heart or my desires or longings or where I want to go or my dissatisfaction or any of those
Yeah.
things. And
My
then we
problems.
resonate.
Talk about my problems. I don't care about you. Talk about my problems and then I'll listen to you.
Here, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. You're a delightful person, and I just
Thank
congratulate you
you.
on building a very successful business. That is awesome. Thank you so much for the advice.